So, as of this moment, there's at least 14 Democratic senators who have called for Bob Menendez to resign. And that doesn't include a number of Democrats in the House that are also calling for it. That doesn't include other prominent liberal-leaning or leftist or Democratic commentators who are calling for it. There's a groundswell of support for Menendez to step aside because he was caught in the most vile rank corruption imaginable. We're talking about cash stuffed into envelopes. We're talking about gold bars. We're talking about getting a luxury car bought for him and his wife by some Egyptian goon who he then turned around and gave them classified information. Just abysmal, over-the-top, absurd, ridiculous. And look, this should be a layup. This should be the easiest thing in the world. And it took them long enough. Credit to Fetterman and AOC were the first ones to come out and say, you know what, you gotta go, son. But then after that, it was like, the dam broke, and you had a whole bunch of others. Sherrod Brown, I believe, was the second senator, and then it was off to the races. And even Cory Booker has now called for Menendez to resign. That's a big deal because he's the other senator from New Jersey. The governor of New Jersey, Phil Murphy, Democrat, he called for him to resign. And look, it's a little late, but I'll take it. Actually, Phil Murphy was early, but a lot of the senators were a little late, but I'll take it. Hey, if you're calling for him to resign, that's the right thing. But what we're seeing here is astonishing, guys. Because while the Democratic senators are like, you know what? This corruption is a bridge too far. Like, it's a little too obvious. It's insane. While that's happening, now you have some Republicans coming out of the woodworks to defend Bob Menendez. Republican senators defending an ultra-corrupt Democratic senator. What? Now remember, it started with Stephen Miller, who was Trump's right-hand guy on the border, a really hardline, far-right dude. And he basically made an argument like, well, why is the deep state targeting Menendez? And I saw that and I was like, wow. But at the same time, I thought, this has got to be like kind of a one-off, right? It's not like there's going to be a whole bunch of them making a similar argument, right? Well, here's Marco Rubio. The allegations against the senior senator from New Jersey are nasty and the evidence offered difficult to explain away. But in America, guilt is decided by a jury, not politicians in fear of their party losing a Senate seat. In other words, Menendez should not resign. Should not resign. Now, by the way, there is one policy reason why Marco Rubio would say this. Menendez is horrific on the issue of Cuba. He's a hardliner. He wants the sanctions. He wants an embargo. He doesn't want to normalize relations. And Marco Rubio, of course, that's one of his main issues, is being horrific on Cuba. And so he has an ideological ally on this foreign policy question. Menendez is just a Republican on the issue of Cuba, and that could explain at least some of the reason why he would say such a thing. But I got more for you. Tom Cotton says, the charges against Senator Menendez are serious and troubling. At the same time, the Department of Justice has a troubling record of failure and corruption in cases against public figures. From Ted Stevens to Bob McDonnell to Donald Trump to Bob Menendez the last time around. All right, let me pause on that. The issue is not that those people were genuinely innocent of the charges. The issue is it wasn't proven in court. Bob McDonnell was obviously guilty. The Supreme Court, I believe, was the one who had to intervene to save his ass, but he was taking luxury goods bought for him by donors and doing favors for those donors. And I believe it was the Supreme Court who said, actually, that's totally legal. Yeah, totally fine with that. So the idea is like, oh, it was the corrupt deep state or the corrupt Department of Justice or the corrupt prosecutors who were going after these innocent guys. No, it's they correctly went after guilty people and then they got away scot-free because in this country, we've almost legalized corruption, if not outwardly have legalized corruption. And Bob Menendez got away with it the first time, but he was still guilty. They just couldn't prove it in a court of law. Unbelievable. All right, more. Senator Menendez has a right to test the government's evidence in court just like any other citizen. He should be judged by jurors and New Jersey's voters, not by Democratic politicians who now view him as inconvenient to their hold on power. So again, let me reiterate, Bob Menendez should not resign. I, Tom Cotton, am coming out here to defend Bob Menendez. Now again, the one policy thing where there might be a reason for them to defend him is Tom Cotton is also terrible on the issue of Cuba. It's possible that they know whoever would replace Menendez would be to the left of Menendez. And so they're like, hey, we'll take what we can get with this relatively conservative Democrat. That's possible. But there is another explanation. The other explanation is this. All of these senators are probably engaged to one extent or another, in similar things that Menendez was engaged in. That is almost certainly the case. So how much money has Tom Cotton or Marco Rubio taken from a foreign government and did their bidding, or taken from a billionaire or a CEO or a lobbyist and did their bidding? Perhaps they know, hey, if we set the precedent with Bob Menendez, then when they come for my ass, I'm going to have to step down. I'm going to be in trouble. I don't want to have to step down. I don't want to be in trouble. So let me draw the line now and make an argument of, innocent until proven guilty, and let the voters decide, and come out with all these bogus BS arguments, which totally disregard the plethora, the mountain of evidence saying he's guilty. But they're probably doing it because they know they have skeletons in their closet. Because, guys, what you don't understand is these people have been so corrupt for so long that they don't think anything of it. It's like asking a fish, how's the water? They wouldn't even know what water is. It's just everything. They've been in it their whole lives. It just is what it is. That's how they view their corruption. What do you mean this is how Washington works? Of course. I take money from lobbyists. I take money from billionaires. I take money from executives. I take money from a foreign government. I do favors for them. They look out for me. I grow my net worth exponentially, even though I'm on a senator's salary, which is what, like $400,000 a year or something like that, or $200,000 a year or something like that. But somehow these guys go to the Senate, and next thing you know, you blink and they got a $40 million net worth. You're like, well, how the hell did that happen, right? And Menendez, in this instance, it was so extreme and so corrupt. The reason he had it in cash is because he knew if he put it in the bank, it would have set up a red flag. He would have known, oh my God, they're gonna be onto me because I'm doing this brazenly illegal in this instance thing, and then it's more likely they're gonna investigate me. That's why I need to keep it in cash envelopes in a jacket with my name on it in my home. Well, even that didn't protect you. So, guys, as I said in my tweet on this, I thought for the longest time Republican politicians were not principled on anything. It turns out I'm wrong. They have a principled stance in favor of corruption. It's a principled stance in favor of corruption. If you are corrupt and you get caught, they will come to your defense because they know, hey, I'm the same, dog. I'm the same. And I don't think I did anything wrong, so I'm going to say you didn't do anything wrong. So now we have this situation where Democratic senators are correctly going after one of their own, and Republican senators are defending a Democrat. But there is literally, guys, stop and think about this. There is nothing else that a Democrat could have done to garner this much support from Republican politicians. Nothing. Nothing. But being corrupt was the thing that made them get some support. That says everything I need to know about these elected Republicans, man. Everything. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.